Monday, but that's all right. We got you covered early in the morning. We're going to get your week started off right. Got a heck of a show for you today. Primetime Alex Stein is going to join us, talk some LSU football. He's a LSU grad, so we're going to get some sports takes from him. We got live call-ins. Make sure you give us a shout, 1-855-236-3228. Guys, before we get rocking and rolling, my fiance showed me something yesterday that, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
You're not?
I mean, not like
I feel like that's what
all the
conspiracy
way.
theorists say.
I mean, there's some things that I believe, but it's because I believe them, not because I want to believe them.
Mm-hmm.
But she showed me a picture. This guy was at the scuba dive in the bottom of or like some shallow part, and I believe the Atlantic Ocean, and he saw these ruins, like a wall with a door through it. Not that led into like a room, but like a wall with a door. It had statues of people. Like it just...
You just out there scubaing for fun, or like?
I think he may have been mapping. They were doing something. He may be been a professional scuba diver, but man, this Atlantis situation.
So he found.
Would you be well? Here's the thing. Would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if they're like, hey, guess what? All right, there's an old civilization that's underwater that we found. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, I guess I wouldn't be shocked.
Would you be shocked?
No, I lived there 5 years ago. It was a pretty sweet place. But other than
You did? You and Jason Momoa?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but watch your mouth.
That's the guy who
Don't
plays
bring
Aquaman.
Jason into this, or his Momoa.
Did maybe some stuff just like fall though down from the ship?
Nah, it wouldn't have
wall?
landed like that. There's no
We
way.
have video.
A wall fell from a ship.
After I found
Yeah, it was
out,
it was that wall ship.
after I found out the Loch Ness monster photos were all staged, I can't.
Those were staged?
I need proof.
Those were
I need
staged?
proof. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Dang it.
guys admitted it.
Every wall comes with a Mongolian, so that's how it works.
That is true. The 76ers even up their series with the Boston Celtics. Auburn has a new quarterback. And like I said, Alex Stein from Blaze Media is going to talk some LSU football. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to the Monday edition of Crain & Company. Auburn added its biggest transfer portal addition in former Michigan State quarterback Peyton Thorne last week. Now, Thorne has 49 touchdown passes in his career, which is 7 times what the Auburn quarterback room currently has, and he also adds a wealth of experience as well as multiple years to play. So those would be the most fruitful things that he brings to Auburn, right? Wrong. The best part about this addition for Auburn is that it creates the best developing tool that there is in sports. True competition. Now, before Thorne, it was really Robbie Ashford, and that was pretty much it. You've got a young Holden Gariner, but you can't really count on him yet. But now there will be a true competition that not only nets you a legit starter, but also provides you with a more than capable backup, which is like finding a unicorn in the transfer portal era. Now, in reality, Thorne has to have the lead to be the starter early. But if Ashford can just throw the ball well enough, then he is a legitimate threat to win the job. I still believe that. Now, if Thorne does become the starter, Ashford can be used in a lot of ways, especially in the red zone when the field shrinks. Now, when evaluating Thorne, there is one aspect that he has to own for the Auburn offense to be successful, and that is being able to make defenses respect the quarterback run game while running RPOs and zone read actions. Now, while Freeze isn't technically the offensive coordinator, I would be shocked if this offense didn't follow the mold of his RPO-heavy system. And for that to work, the quarterback must be a run threat to hold the eyes of the defenders and the hearts of defensive coordinators. Now, Auburn fans can remember the difference between Jared Stidham running the zone read compared to Bo Nix. You can't be a sitting duck in this system, and that is what makes Ashford so enticing, yet he has the opposite problem with Thorne right now. Now, either way, Hugh Freeze has done a great job filling holes on the ship by using the transfer portal. And while Auburn is still behind in roster structure, they have closed the gap significantly. And it's amazing right now to hear absolute silence from those Auburn fans who damned the administration for hiring him. As I said before, those will be the same people that were there to support Brian Harsin and the first ones to roll Toomer's corner when Auburn wins this year. And after seeing these portal additions, there may be more happy times at Toomer's than most thought during this upcoming season. Go and bring in my co-host, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, and my brother, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain. Guys, when you look at where Auburn is right now, compared to where they were 3 months ago, you look at the landscape of the SEC West. LSU right now is the favorite because of the continuity that they return. Alabama, we know, is going to be a factor, but there's some interesting spots. You look at Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. There's a lot of unknowns there. Could Auburn actually make a run at this thing in the West?
I don't know about winning the West, but I think they're going to be so much improved this season. This is a good get for Auburn, especially in a league where a lot of quarterbacks are gone. We just saw last week, 4 of them, maybe 5 got drafted to the NFL. So this is a good get. Peyton Thorne, 6,500 passing yards at Michigan State, almost 50 touchdowns. He threw for 3,200 yards and 27 TDs in 2021. He took a step backwards last year a little bit with 2,600 yards, but increased his completion percentage at 62.5%. But even more than all that, what it says is, hey, Hugh Freeze at Auburn can go get other Power 5 starters, and I think that's a big statement. The other half of this equation is Michigan State. What is this going to mean for Mel Tucker? He was known when he came in as the guy who's going and stealing your recruits. Went and got Kenneth Walker from Wake, who had that great season, Heisman contender. Now you see more and more guys leaving. I don't know what this is going to mean for the Spartans moving forward.
Well, we keep saying, was that first big year under Mel Tucker that got him that big contract? Was it more Mel Tucker or was it more Kenneth Walker? Because right now it's looking like it's more Kenneth Walker, Blaine.
No, for sure it was. I mean, this Peyton Thorne, it's a good get. It's a good get. Will it get Auburn a little bit better at the quarterback position? For sure, but I'm not excited about it. I don't think he's going to come in and be a huge difference in this offense. I think I'm more excited about the receiver position right now and what Hugh's doing. I agree with you. I've never had a question about Hugh Freeze being able to get guys or develop quarterbacks. I would rather have that Casey Thompson kid from Nebraska.
I agree with
I really would. I think he's a better fit. I think Peyton Thorne at Michigan State obviously had a down year last year, but we'll see. I don't believe in the quarterback room at Auburn. I don't believe in Robbie Ashford. He's a running back. That's what Robbie is. He can't throw the ball good enough to win you a bunch of games in the SEC. So it's a good get for Auburn. Do I think this is going to add any more wins to Auburn's schedule? No, I do not.
So you don't think adding Peyton Thorne is going to add any wins?
No, I don't. I feel like he's Robbie. Him and Robbie are obviously different quarterback, but from a skill level, they're basically the same.
Really? Well, I mean, I watched the way Robbie threw the ball against Alabama. He doesn't have to go out there and be Drew Brees. He just got to go out there and be the opposite of what I was talking about with Peyton Thorne. Can he throw it well enough to where you're not loading the box, walking safeties down? Can he take advantage of that one-on-one matchup on the outside? I think from a potential standpoint, Robbie Ashford has more potential because of his ability to run in an RPO-heavy offense, 3-man surface method, however you want to put it. But you can never go wrong adding an experienced quarterback that had success in the Big Ten. And I think, again, it creates competition. At worst, it creates competition. So I think it adds a little more value.
We're talking about Kenneth Walker, right? That was the 2021 season when Kenneth Walker was running for all these yards. Even that season, Peyton Thorne had 3,200 yards through the air and 27 touchdowns with 10 picks. I mean, that in the Big Ten?
I remember the game against Pitt that Kenneth Walker opted out in that bowl game. And I think Peyton Thorne ended up throwing for like 350 with 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like, this guy he can do it. It's just, can he run well enough to let the offense flourish as much as possible, to let the system really open up?
What do y'all think the problem was last year?
With Michigan State?
Well, him and Michigan State.
Maybe it is a Mel Tucker thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you look at how you look at the skill position at Michigan State last year. I mean, you look at the offensive line. I do think it's obviously not easy going into the SEC. But if I was going to have to take a quarterback to come from anywhere into the SEC, it would be the Big Ten, because I think from a personnel and ability standpoint, the Big Ten is the closest from the top to the bottom to the SEC than any other conference. I'm not saying by a huge margin, but I think we can agree with that. The Big Ten had 10 guys taken, just like the SEC did in the NFL draft early.
If his numbers went down slightly, you could just say, hey, look, Kenneth Walker being a great running back opened up a lot of the passing game for him, but his numbers went down to 2,600 yards. He still threw 19 TDs and 11 picks. Even that, if that was the only sample size, look, Auburn's not in a position right now. You said this is not exciting for you. Auburn's not in a position right now to go get those guys who are really exciting. Now, I know that Hugh Freeze has a track record and he can go get some guys here and there, but let Hugh Freeze win for a couple seasons. All of a sudden, I think in the transfer portal, you're going to start to see him get guys who really get you excited.
I think Casey Thompson's exciting. From a Nebraska school that was mediocre.
You would have been super pumped about that?
Yeah, I would. I think Casey can be an elite quarterback. just from watching his play. I mean, he had Palmer, receiver at LSU, but he fits the system a lot better for Hugh Freeze than Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, I do think he fits the system better. It looks like Casey Thompson's going to end up at FAU. I came out and said I would have preferred to have Thompson over Thorne because of that running ability, his ability to extend the play. I need to see how exactly Auburn's going to do it offensively. Phil Montgomery, the old Tulsa head coach, I do think it's going to be an RPO-based offense. Now, will he adjust if Peyton Thorne's the guy? I'm not sure. Excuse me, we're going to have to see that because it's the first year where these two have been working together. I got to see how they make music. But it's going to be interesting to follow either way, and the roster did get better, not just at the quarterback position, but at the receiver position and at the offensive line. But speaking about getting better, do you feel like your coffee's just mid? Because if it's not Black Rifle Coffee, surprise, guess what it is? All right. Black Rifle Coffee literally fuels the Daily Wire. Our office drinks about 40 pounds of their coffee every week. And if you haven't tried Black Rifle Coffee yet, you need to. A great place to start is their Complete the Mission Fuel Sampler, giving you a taste of the entire spectrum of Black Rifle Coffee's flavor profiles. We're working on the Flamin' Dragon Brew, don't worry. All right, they're offering 4-ounce bags of the following roast: the Silencer Smooth, AK-47 Espresso, Beyond Black, and Just Black. The only hard part will be picking your favorite. They're veteran-founded and operated by principled men and women who honor, protect, and defend those who support our country. And with every purchase you make, they give back. So save money and drink America's coffee. Go to blackriflecoffee.com. Use our promo code BOOSTER. It's BOOSTER at checkout for 10% off your one-time purchase or first-time coffee club order. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Promo code BOOSTER for 10% off. You can also find it in Black Rifle Coffee, the grocery and convenience stores near you. Black Rifle Coffee, America's coffee. Guess what? It's delicious. What do you got, D?
What do I have today? Power Llama.
That's because your llama's weak, but now it's powerful.
I have a gunship.
Wake up, you're dead.
Surprise. Oh, you're snapping at us? Look up, you're dead.
Were you talking about the Silencer Smooth on there? Hold on, first of all, we're going through 40 pounds a week?
40 pounds a week.
At D-Dub?
That's moving weight.
The Silencer Smooth one, that one's amazing.
You like that?
My
That's
brother,
your move?
Well, that's my brother Aaron's favorite roast that they have. Also, it's Aaron's birthday today.
It is. Hey, Ron.
Buddy.
Happy Level Up Day,
we'll
brother.
Get you some Silencer Smooth, man.
Let's do it. What do we got over there going in the club? Bottle full of bub.
Go to Chrissy. He wants to know, will Thorne have a better career at Auburn than he did at Michigan State?
I think, if he stays multiple years, I think that's another great part about him coming over. Yes, I do. I think he'll be more relevant in the scheme of things, if you want to put it that way. Now, statistically, I think there's a chance you'll probably meet somewhere in the middle when you're going into a league like the SEC with those defenses. But now that he has some weapons around him and it looks like Auburn's not done, I think he's going to put up some good numbers.
Don't turn the ball over.
Yep, don't turn the ball over.
It's a good start.
That's a great
way to
start.
start.
That's a great
We
way.
play a lot of games that way.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sadie Inward with a $5 donation. Inward, ENWERD.
Okay,
So
good. Easy.
no one-
That means like
No one freak out.
that means like everything's over if you say it.
Yeah.
Let's bring in. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. He says, recently discovered the show. Love what you guys do. Appreciate it, Sadie. I want to call in, but can't think of a good call sign. Any suggestions?
What do you think, Blaine? This is up your alley.
This is tough. What about Saddle Sadie?
Saddle Sadie?
Yeah.
I like that.
Like
Saddle
that?
Sadie.
Let's do that.
You wanna
There you
go
go.
with that? Okay, I don't think we go bad with that. Jimbo Sliced Bread says Auburn definitely 6-6 in 2023.
What did they have the over? DraftKings
6.
had the win total over 6.5.
Was it 6.5?
I'm smashing that over.
Yeah.
The best one on there is Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's 3.5. Give me that. Give me
Over?
that all day. Clark Lee, Professor X's son, of course.
Who's in the non-conference?
I don't think it's
That's
a
what
good.
we'd have to look.
Well, I
We're
think
gonna
they're
break
playing
that
like
down.
You talking
We
about
need to.
schedules?
Yeah. We'll
Already
look
here.
at.
I'm already here.
You're there.
I'm
What's
on
it looking like?
So we got a tough one. Week 1, UMass.
UMass, they're ass.
Then we go to Cal. Week 2, Sanford at home. And you go to A&M.
Okay.
All right, winnable game in my opinion. You go get beat by Georgia, probably by a
Yep,
lot.
you're getting beat by Georgia.
Go to LSU. It was
You're
fun
going to lose
while it
that.
lasted.
Yep, thanks for showing up.
Ole Miss at home. I hope we just find a way to beat Lane Kiffin sometimes. I just don't get it. Mississippi State at home.
Okay, both of
Go
you-
to Vandy.
Wait, we're talking about.
We're talking about Vandy.
Oh, I'm talking about Auburn.
Oh.
I was about to say that.
find
sounds-
out what we-
well,
Y'all want me to
once-
give Vandy?
Once you
I'm
got
not
to,
used to y'all asking for like Vandy's.
well, once you got to the fourth game, I was like, "Damn, that sounds a
thought we
lot
were talking
like
about
Auburn's
Auburn.
schedule."
I'm sitting there thinking about Vanderbilt.
Okay.
this whole-
Well, I heard
like-
6.5.
Well, you
All
think
right,
about
okay, Auburn. Then we went to 3.5.
Yeah. Just real quick, what's the non-conference for Vanderbilt?
For Vandy, you got Hawaii, UNLV,
Okay.
and like Alabama A&M.
So if
Okay.
you win those 3 and win one SEC game, you hit the
I am
4.
smashing
What
the
SEC
over.
team is it going to be? Okay, you go to Wake, you're going to lose that. You got Kentucky, Mizzou, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Auburn, at South Carolina, at Tennessee.
Where's Mizzou?
Mizzou's at home.
Uh-oh.
There's a game in there.
Uh-oh.
There's a game in there.
I love Eli, but I don't
Let's
know.
go to Tuck Speedman. He says, Hugh can recruit. Auburn will be just fine. We'll have a signature win in his first season.
I agree.
I just love that name, Tug Speedman. All right, you want to get to any donos, or we need to move
That's
on?
all the no-nos.
All right, let's go ahead and get into best and
Best
worst.
and
here.
worst. You guys started off.
Man, look, I gotta start with my guy James Harden, and y'all know how I feel about Joel Embiid. I love his game. I have no problem with him winning the MVP. Dropped 34, had 13 rebounds last night, but when it came down to it, when it really came down to it, who was the one who toted the mail in crunch time for the Sixers? Because the Sixers snatched that one back after the Celtics were about to steal it late. It was James Harden. Not only the big 3 at the end, he ended up with 42 points. He had 4 steals, a block, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Now, game 2 and game 3, he wasn't fantastic, but it seems when it comes down to crunch time, at least lately, James Harden is the guy that goes and gets the bag. And I don't know if it's, resting up or he's able to do this in spurts, because I think he had a combined 26 or 28 points in game 2 and game 3. Games 1 and games 4, he's gone 45 and then 42. We are seeing somewhat of a renaissance for James Harden. And I will put the 2-man action of Joel Embiid and James Harden, whether it's the high ball screen, whether it's the side screen, whether it's true pick and roll, I'll put that combo up against anybody. But the fact that PJ Tucker had to get in Joel Embiid's face late in that game and tell him he needs to stop ducking the money, that would worry me a little bit if I'm a Sixers fan.
It still felt like the offense was running through Embiid most of the time, though. But look, a good gritty win for them.
Yep.
At home, way to figure it out. From what I saw, I think Boston wins the next 2 and closes this series out.
Boston's a better
I think
team.
the 76ers have some problems on there, especially when James Harden gets switched on to Jaylen Brown. That to me is just an extreme. That to me is more of a mismatch than when Jaylen Brown is guarding James Harden. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the Celtics, look, you won 2 at home if you're the 76ers. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston finishes this thing out in 6, Blaine.
I don't know. The more I watch this series, the more I'm intrigued, to be honest. I will take up James Harden and Joel Embiid's 2-man game with anybody in the NBA. Joel Embiid, the one thing, I think Al Horford does a great job against Joel Embiid.
He owned Embiid down the stretch.
He makes Joel really think, right? And the one thing the Sixers are really good at doing, especially Joel Embiid, is getting to a spot on the floor early, right? If you get to Joel before he gets to a spot, he's a lot easier to defend. But I was really questioning what the Celtics did. They give up that 3 by James Harden late. You double Embiid, all right? You're up 3. All right, you double Embiid.
No, you're up 2.
You're up 2.
You're up 2. Or you double Embiid and leave James Harden wide open for the easiest 3 in the NBA.
Well,
I don't like that. I think the Sixers are a lot better off playing Devin White than they are Brogdon. I think when Devin White came in the fourth, he looked a lot cleaner on defense than what Brogdon did. Because Brogdon usually, especially in the first half, was that matchup for James Harden. And he just couldn't keep up, especially in the pick game. Devin White is a lot better, a better defender than Brogdon.
Yeah, Derek White, I know what you mean. We're about to get to Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I know you got Devin Booker on the mind. I'll say this, 2 things. Malcolm Brogdon's been playing at a very high level. He's one of the main reasons that they won the game before this. He absolutely went in there and freaked out. The thing I don't understand with the Sixers, when PJ Tucker is shooting the corner 3, which is the easiest 3 in the NBA, that's his shot. Mm-hmm. But why? Why is he not in the game late for defense? When the Celtics went on that run, it was when PJ Tucker was out. PJ Tucker is a legitimate defensive lockdown guy. He's physical, and he, to me, is the vocal leader of that team. I was very shocked that Doc didn't have him in earlier, because when he came in the game, what does he do? He comes in, he plays defense, gets a rebound, gets fouled, gets the and one to give them the lead or tie the game, I can't remember, and he's out there telling Joel Embiid, stop running from the money. So there's some things that Doc Rivers does that I wonder. But you won the game. This is going to continue to be a hell of a series. My second best of the weekend, the Florida Panthers.
Oof.
I'm telling you, we're snatching hockey straight out of Canada. And we love our Canadian audience. We do. But at the end of the day, when you're losing down, you're down 3-0 right now to the Panthers. The Leafs, I thought they'd be playing more free after getting through the first round. I thought a lot of the pressure would be off. Well, all Florida does is go up there and in the 6 and take 2, then come back down to Florida, come back and win this game. The Leafs are cooked. They're done. The real question is, can the Panthers win this thing? And I think they can.
Yeah, like you're talking about less pressure on them from last season when they won the President's Trophy.
Yep.
I agree with you. I thought the Maple Leafs, after getting through the first round finally, would play a little bit more free, but the Panthers are just a really good hockey team. I mean, did you see that yesterday when they finally, I think there were no goals in the third, right? So it was already 2-2 entering the third. But just going into overtime, you felt like, man, the Panthers are going to win this game even though they're already up 2-0.
Yeah, and the Leafs
right?
came out, scored that early goal, got the momentum. Every time the Leafs would grab momentum, the Panthers would snatch it right back. And I tell you what, there's really 3 home ice advantages that I think are that I've seen, and people will say, oh, well, you're wrong in this, but just that I've seen affect the game. That's Carolina, that's New Jersey, and that's the Florida Panthers. That arena was rocking last night. Just like the Devils. The Devils arena was rocking last night. It's so interesting to see a team from Florida be really good in hockey.
Which is interesting on New Jersey because they had played better on the road.
Yeah, they're a road
most
team.
of the season.
Yeah.
But then somewhere along the way in that Rangers series and now here with the big, what did they win yesterday by 8-4?
Yeah, it
like
was
8-4.
8-4.
Or did they get another one at the end?
I thought it was 8. That's what I thought.
It was 8, and 8 in hockey is like 70 in football.
Yeah, you got absolutely ran. And then my third best is Wyndham Clark. 5 years on the PGA Tour, just got his first win at Quail Hollow. It was an unbelievably emotional time for him. If he'd have thought he'd have won one by now. And I always enjoy in golf seeing the guy that hasn't won one win one. We have the Scott Schefflers and the Rory McIlroys and the Jordan Spieth and all those guys that have won a lot. We expect them, John Rahm, to go in there and compete. I love to see it when a guy that's not a household name goes in there and wins one, and you could just see it. I mean, he had to pull his hat down. Like he couldn't. He was unbelievably emotional. I thought that was a great moment from the week.
For the rest of his life, man.
Yep.
He can tell his kids, I want to.
That's exactly right.
I want a tournament on the PGA Tour.
What do you got over there, Blaine, for your best?
My best is Devin Booker. I mean, the kid's a walking bucket at this point. The last 9 games, the least points he scored was 26. I believe he dropped 34 last night against the Nuggets. He's the piece for you for the Suns. If you don't win it this year, I think DeAndre Ayton's got to go. Obviously, Kevin Durant's going to choose whatever team's doing extremely well through half the season and go play for them. But Devin Booker, man, I don't think he gets talked about enough. I really don't for what he's doing in the playoffs. And I know he catches a lot of heat for a Game 7 performance he had last year. That was mediocre. But I'm telling you, the kid right now is an absolute bucket. And my other best is Liam Hendricks. He's minor league in the White Sox. Came back and threw a scoreless inning right after beating cancer. So I thought that was a really cool story. Liam, congratulations, brother. 1, on the scoreless inning, and 2, kicking cancer's ass, man. Keep it going for sure.
Devin Booker shot 14 of 18 last night. I saw they set a stat during the fourth quarter that Devin Booker had made like 32 out of his last 42 shots. Just shooting at an insane clip.
Was it right before the end of the third? Like he actually got doubled after sending both guys to him, still pulled it up.
It's a skeet shoot. And he's one of those guys that when he gets hot, it's like playing 2K hot. And you got like all the attributes and boosts on a guy.
If you're playing against
the other
Devin
guy is Kevin Durant.
Yeah. If you're playing against Devin and it's going in early, good luck.
Well, the thing is that you still gave up 124. Like the Suns are not going to win a championship playing this bad a defense. I mean, Jokic was getting everything that he wanted last night.
What he at, 56?
Jokic ended up with 53, 11 assists, 4 rebounds. I mean, and he was just doing it every single way.
And then try to fight the Suns.
Hold on, do we have that clip actually?
Yeah.
I wanted to get you guys talking about
He pushed the Suns. Let's run the clip first. For Jokic to get a tech. So he gets the ball from the owner. Like, they called a technical on Jokic. I thought if you touch the player as a fan, you get kicked out of the game.
Yeah, see, don't be doing that.
If that's not the owner,
that's the Suns owner, Matt Ishbia.
Yeah, if that's not the owner, then that fan is kicked out of the game. That fan's kicked out of the game. Well, you can't touch a player.
Jokic doesn't know that's the owner of the Suns, all right? He doesn't even have a phone. Right? You think he knows that's the owner of the Suns? One, give him the ball, you idiot.
Can you run it again?
Let's run it one more again.
You're not going to be able to see it from this view. When you see Vinny flops.
Oh, flopped, really?
He played at Michigan State.
Exactly.
He played for Izzo. So, you know,
watch this. Watch it when Jokic tries to take the ball.
That's what happened there.
He's not giving it to him, and then he throws it
Give me
away.
the ball.
You know what?
Give me
hey,
the ball.
Hey, that's privilege. That's rich people privilege if I ever seen it in my life.
I don't know, man. I don't mind the technical foul there. I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, then the Suns owner needs a tech.
Yeah.
All right? Like, you each
Now
get
we're
a
both
check,
up,
right?
two.
Yeah.
Team both
You each
up.
go both out there and
What
shoot.
did Devin Booker? They asked Booker, one of the Suns players, about it, and he goes, "Yeah, our owner's out here helping us get a point. You know that's how."
Yeah, for sure. Well, did you see what the Nuggets head coach said? When they were like, he was like, I don't care if that was the owner. He's like, it's ridiculous or whatever. Now, he used a little bit more colorful language than that, but he's obviously.
So Jokic, that's what Jokic was saying. He's like, well, he's a fan.
Yeah.
Like, well, he's the Suns owner. I don't care. He's in the front row. He's a
That's
fan.
exactly right.
Like, no one cares.
That's what I'm saying.
You own.
Jokic
Give me the
knows
ball.
nobody in that arena except his teammates and the coaching staff.
Yeah, he rode there on a horse.
That seemed fairly aggressive from Jokic, but I get it. Trying to go fast.
Look,
trying to get a 5-on-4 advantage.
We need more aggression in the world.
I won't argue.
Especially in the NBA.
I won't argue.
You get touched, it's like, oh, God.
Oh, my
check your
feeling.
mail.
Oh, my feeling. What's your best, Coney?
All right, I got a couple things here. First of all, Canelo Alvarez in the boxing world went home to Mexico, defeated John Ryder to retain his super middleweight championship belt. That makes Canelo 59-2-2. One of those losses to Floyd Mayweather, okay? And then after back-to-back wins now with this and the third fight in the Gennady Golovkin trilogy, he says he wants Dmitry Bivol again, who he lost to a year ago, and that was only his second loss all time. So
Canelo's, I'm not the biggest boxing fan in the world, but I'll watch Canelo.
Dude,
like,
so much
he
fun
moves
to
the
watch.
needle for me.
You know,
he does move the needle for me.
He can set the pace. He can be a counter puncher. He's got the total package. So fun there to see him sort of get back on track after the Bivol loss. The TCU baseball catch. You see Austin Davis in right field. Do we have that clip? Let's run this clip here.
Up 5-4, top of the
looks
seventh.
like me in softball.
TCU's Austin Davis.
Ooh, that's how you play right field.
Somersault
It gets
over
right back
and
up.
gets the ball back in.
Look,
He had to go so far to
Guys, I hope
Look at
you
that.
know, as a fan,
that's incredible. And what do? You get right back up to get the ball.
as a fan, how terrifying that is.
Oh, yeah.
Running full speed. You don't know where the fence is, but you
Not
have
to
a
the
certain
side.
idea in your head on where it is, but you don't know exactly where it is. He made a decision at some point. It's either going to be me
Full
or the
send.
fence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
full send. Like, it's one thing to be going back. You know where you're at, especially in your own park, right? And you have a warning track and help. And, of course, you do have warning tracks on the side of some places. But you don't work that catch nearly the amount of time that you work going back and robbing a ball or jumping up and knowing where the fence is. You notice how he didn't feel out for anything. His eyes stayed up. They never moved. And that takes a set
That's
right
like
there.
that's like almost receiver-ish going
Yeah.
over the middle-ish right there.
Yeah, exactly. Because that catch is hard enough to make if it's just grass in front of you. You know, you're on the run, the ball's low, you have to reach out. With adding the fence in there, I don't know. Top-notch catch right
Great
there.
catch.
My last best here. Kentucky Golf has a new head coach.
Yeah.
boys. Gator Todd.
Gator
New
get
head
hired
coach.
at Kentucky.
Gator got hired at Kentucky.
My
baby.
brother-in-law, he was the assistant golf coach at Vanderbilt. They're like number one in the nation right now. So he is going to coach in regionals and hopefully in the national championship. And then the Kentucky Wildcat. Yeah, let's get him on.
Yeah.
New head coach in the SEC, boys.
That's when I changed my name to
Look,
Gator.
he got a text. I can't say from who, but he got a text from someone that said, wow. And, you know, Kentucky golf's been down a little bit. They've had a great coach for a long time, but they've been
anymore.
down the last few years. They said Texas, Oklahoma, and Kentucky all joining the SEC now.
Let's go.
Very, very happy for Gator. All right, I'm going to go ahead to the worst here quickly. Nick Gilbert, son of the Cavs owner, was 26, passed away. You've seen him. He's been part of the draft and things like that. 26 years old, as I said. He had a genetic condition, neurofibromatosis. I believe I'm saying that right. Just tough. Our hearts and prayers and condolences go out to the Gilbert family.
That's
going
Dan
through this
Gilbert's
stuff.
son?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's
I
a
hate
tough
that.
deal. But again, like I said, our condolences go out to the family. South Carolina baseball. That's my second one. South Carolina was hotter than hotter
Fat
than.
kid in a sleeping bag.
Nope. Keep going. Say another one.
Fat kid just keeps popping in my mind. I
Hotter
don't
than
know why.
Margot Robbie surfing on a volcano.
Wow.
When you look at South Carolina baseball, They've been dominant, and it's baseball. You go up and down, and I will say the injury bug has bitten them lately pretty bad. But you go to Auburn, who I do want to give credit to, beat South Carolina 2 out of 3 and just beat LSU. Big run ruling them on Sunday. May ask Primetime Stein about that one. But you drop 2 out of 3 to Auburn, then you go get swept by Kentucky. Now you're 14-9 in the league, and you're losing momentum going into the last 2 weekends. That's the last spot you want to be. And just Oakland in general. 8-27 in Major League Baseball right now. Lost, you're going to lose the A's. You lost the Raiders. Golden State, the Warriors in San Francisco. Like, I don't know. It's not a great time for Oakland. Your announcer had said a racial slur live on the air. Just not a great time in Oakland.
Man.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough out there, especially if you're an A's fan.
Yeah. Ugh.
Going to Vegas.
Going to Vegas, baby. How about that ride in? What's your worst?
My worst? And it's kind of like, what's going on in this Lakers-Warriors series? Like, I just don't get it.
Wait.
I just don't get it,
Well,
okay?
wait.
Like, I don't understand. Like, first of all, these teams shouldn't be beating each other by 30 points.
I see, yeah.
Okay? I don't care if you go from one arena to the other, okay? These are just all-stars all over the court. Like, this should be close games. 10 to 12, I get it. Right?
You got hot.
I can get it. I can get that. On the road, a little tougher. 30? Like, the Warriors win at 30 at home, okay? Then go to the Lakers, and the Lakers win by 30. What's going on?
At first, when you said that, I thought there was no possible way that I would agree with you that the Lakers-Warriors should be on your worst. But now that you explained it like that, I can see that out.
I don't even know if it should be like, I can't mentally understand on how 30-point swings happen in games like this, right? With Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like, it should be like, this series should almost be like Suns Nuggets.
Yeah, that one Saturday night, I mean, it was
a
runaway
beat
from the
down.
jump. Yeah.
Well, the Warriors won the first quarter, I'm pretty sure. Other than that, it was just an absolute thrashing.
Well, I do want to say, too, I'm not a huge LeBron James fan. I don't agree with a lot of stuff he does off the court, but I thought we got to see the real, actual LeBron when they interviewed him after the game, because Bronny James, his son, committed to USC. I know there's some Ohio State fans that are pissed off about that. But if LeBron could just actually truly be himself like he was in that post-game interview, like I could love that LeBron. He came on and said, listen, I'm so happy for the win, but I was going to win today regardless of what the score of this game was. That's the first James to go to college. LeBron did not go to college. So I thought that interview was a moment where I saw the real LeBron. Not that I read this book, but I'm on page 1 LeBron. Not that I knew this was going to happen LeBron. Not that, Bronny was going to USC before he was even born LeBron, and I knew it. That was real LeBron. And if we could get more of that, I could get behind LeBron James more.
So how do you feel about Bronny James going to USC? Picking over OSU, the home state favorite, and then even over UCLA if you're going to stay in California.
I'll never fault a kid for staying close to home. I think, when it comes down, there's obviously financial incentive. And if you look now, there's guys that want to go play with Bronny James. This is a huge coup for USC. I mean, this is a huge pickup. And they actually go to Auburn. I'm going to try and go to that game next year in Neville Arena. So Bronny James will be in there. But no, I totally get it. Andy Enfield, big get for him. So look, I'll never fault somebody for making a college choice.
He's still got to play in the Big Ten.
Yeah. And you know what?
USC.
Is he going to be truly a one and done? Will some franchise take him if they know they'll get LeBron? Probably.
Oh, he's a one and done.
Like,
No
I'm
matter
talking
how
about
good
just from talent-wise.
No. But I think I think he'll be talented enough to be a first-round pick.
No.
All right.
So.
Mine, boys, Cam Newton. Cam Newton was on Josina Anderson's podcast recently, and he said, I'm not in the NFL because of my hairstyle. Bring up this pic here. Yeah, here we go. I'm not in the NFL because of my hairstyle, and Josina Anderson said, so are you being blackballed by the NFL? Said, yeah, people have hinted towards things like that, saying, Cam, we want you to go back to the 2015 clean cut Cam. Boys,
What?
I got to tell Cam Newton, like, man, you're one of the greatest college players of all time. You had one of the greatest NFL seasons of all time. Like, you had a great career, man. Let's just be grateful for that. Like, if you were still playing like you were in 2015, no one would care if you have 2023 hair.
Look, as an Auburn fan, I am forever indebted to Cam Newton. So it's hard for me to say negative things about Cam Newton outside of analysis when he plays. I mean, you got to call it like you see it. But there's two things here. It's hard for me to believe that they're keeping you out because of your hair when I watch some of the outfits that they show up in the game in. I mean, half of them, it's like they're wearing like a Glad trash bag with like a crown of bananas on or something crazy like that. Joe Burrow's, to me, like he dressed up like the villain from Roger Rabbit. I mean, it's everybody across the league dressed as crazy. So I don't think that. And then when it comes to the dreadlock thing, you're not the only guy in the league with dreadlocks. You know, you're not the only guy in the league with that hairstyle. So I think, and this is alleged, I don't have any medical information on it. I think there may be some physical stuff going on with Cam Newton that is preventing him from playing in the NFL.
Well, the way he played, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he was, reckless abandon with his body, and that's one of the things that made him great, But you got a shot with the Patriots,
for
right?
sure.
You got a shot with your team, the Carolina Panthers, again after that. 3 seasons in a row, more interceptions than touchdowns. That's not a great strategy to remain in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's just like you weren't playing good football, Cam. It's not your hairstyle, bud. Go through the NFL. I mean, have you seen Robbie Anderson's hairstyle? I don't know what his name is now.
Yeah.
His hairstyle, DeAndre Hopkins' hairstyle. There's plenty of guys with dreads, crazy hairstyles, stuff like that. You just weren't playing good football. And you happen to play quarterback.
Yeah.
It's the truth. It's the truth. Well, speaking about good, if you're a grilling game, let's say you're getting ready, you got the meat, you got everything ready to rock and roll, but all of a sudden you look and you're out of propane. Well, guess what? Not if you subscribe to our friends over at Cinch. You need to go online to cinch.com or download their app. That's cynch.com. We know it's grilling season. The weather's warming up. The last thing I want to be doing when I'm getting ready to host a barbecue is driving around and worrying where to refill my propane tank. And that's where our friends at Cinch come in clutch. They're a propane grill tank home delivery service. They deliver propane tanks right to your door on your schedule and do not require a long-term commitment or subscription. Plus, delivery is completely contactless. You don't have to wait around at home, and you can track the order from the Cinch app from anywhere. So go online to cinch.com or download their app to order. New customers can get their first tank exchange for just $10 with promo code BOOSTER. That's BOOSTER. Go to cinch.com or download the Cinch app. Use that promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, to get your first tank exchange for just $10. That's cinch.com, promo code BOOSTER. This is a limited time offer, and you must live within a Cinch service area to redeem it. So visit cinch.com/offer for details. Guys, just went through this. Had to get my propane tank refilled. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to change my plans. I didn't have to say, oh, no, I can't do this radio hit because I got to go get some propane. You know what I did? I went to the Cinch app, got it handled, showed up, and now, I don't know who has more tanks, me or Barry Bonds.
There you go. Good for you. We've lived that life.
We've lived the Cinch life.
How are you going to cook the Good Rancher steak if you don't have propane in it?
That's exactly right.
You can't.
Mm-hmm. Also, I want to let everybody know we have Riley Gaines coming on. We're going to drop that interview tomorrow. It's a fantastic one. There's some updates in there that you need to see, and we all know what happened to Riley. We talk about that as well, but she's the tip of the spear when it comes to keeping dudes out of women's sports. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, you subscribe to the channel. Get ready to see that one because it's a heck of an interview, and I think you guys are going to get a lot out of it. And also, we're taking calls, 1-855-236-3228. That number is seared into my brain now.
There you go.
Seared, never leaving. Never leaving. 1,000 years from now, you could wake me up from a cryogenic sleep, and I'll still remember.
Say it again.
1-855-236-3228.
Bam.
The kid's hot. What do we got going on in the Booster Club before we bring prime time in here?
Let's go to Justin Decker with a $2 donation. It says, so we're not going to talk about Auburn baseball, huh? Ha-ha, in your face.
I just mentioned it.
Who's the dummy now? Feeling Dangerous 113, $20 donation.
Let's get hot.
Mage wins the Derby.
Yes.
15-1. Got me a cool G.
Really?
Wow. A G?
Feeling Dangerous won you a little stacky?
I mean, Age of Empire had won 3 of the last 4 races. I thought that was a horse that was going to win, but Mage did their thing. I put a little money on Mandarin Hero, which, talk about mid, finished right in the middle of the pack. That's why I don't speak Mandarin. But when you watch the race, it was a heck of a race. I mean, down the stretch, it was the last 2 that were working. Reed and I watched it. Mm-hmm. And the first thing she said was, of course, a chestnut won, which I found out is a type of horse.
Color?
Gotcha. Was she pumped about it or not really?
I mean, I asked her, I was like, could you do that? Because she jumps, she doesn't race. And she was like, no chance. I was like, why? She's like, look how high they're sitting up on the horse. He's like, look how little they have to make themselves. Look how short
Reed's
their
too
stirrups
tall,
are.
Isn't she?
I mean, I don't think Reed's too tall. No, those guys could
the South
definitely get a
Pole?
job at the North Pole if they want.
South
for
Pole,
sure.
they're angry.
Yeah.
about it.
Angry Elf.
Making Etch-a-Sketches and Jack in the Boxes and all types of
I hated that what was it? Forte got scratched morning of.
Well, there was like this controversy because like 4 horses got put down, then another 4 got scratched. There's just a lot going on.
What?
I know. I just don't understand how they just
I don't
put them
like it.
down.
It's a whole
I don't
world.
like it.
Like that
I don't
racing
like it.
world just is whole.
like, why can't we just send them? Is there not like a
there not
like a
even
Make-A-Wish
Like a
pasture or
horse
something?
freedom.
I'll take
pasture?
one.
I'm living apart.
Riding
I
around.
can't take
Yeah,
it.
you're gonna
Oh, wow.
Johnny Drama this thing from Entourage in the middle of Los
Can
Angeles.
you have a mini horse in the city limits? Does anybody
Can
know?
you just imagine if you're a horse and you mess up your foot?
Oh.
It's like, no, I'm good.
No, I'd be stretching. I'd be
No,
stretching.
I'm good.
Look,
I'm
look,
good.
I'd be stretching all day.
No.
I'd be the most flexible horse. I'd be like, I have to win so they'll retire me. I need to win enough where they can't, send me the glue factory.
It's a cutthroat world in the horse game. All right, let's go to Cole Frink, $2 donation. Hey, Jake, where's that song? All right. You see
All right.
Cone putting songs out on
All right.
Twitter.
All right.
He's coming after you, okay? He's coming
I saw
after
that.
you. Yeah.
I saw
Subtle
that.
flex by
So
Cone
here's
on
where I'm
Twitter.
at right now. If you don't know, I'm literally getting married in 2 weeks, and there's a lot going on in
busy.
my life
Yeah.
right now. The song's done.
what do you say?
But my guy I was going to record it with just happened to be out of state.
What do you say?
Rhino.
If I wanted excuses, I'd talk to prisoners. Isn't that what you said?
Okay. Well, thank you, DJ Khaled. Okay, I would rather do this. I would rather do this
PJ
the right way.
Khaled.
PJ Khaled.
PJ Khaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't hear,
Yes.
PJ just came in and said I could record it on my phone. Like this is 2009. Grow
know
up,
that.
Peter Pan.
Let's
All
go.
right. We should have Alex in here in a minute. Let's go
Okay,
ahead.
well, I'll read donations till you get in here.
All right, keep going.
Let's go to Chris E. with a $10 donation. Chris, thank you. David. Michigan lacrosse needs a shout out for winning the Big Ten tournament for the first time ever.
You did.
They beat OSU 14-10.
Yes.
Penn State 17-15, and Maryland 14-5.
Let's go. Congrats. Go Blue. I told y'all we could win championships. Okay? You see that? About
Oh
to be a
man,
lacrosse
Frozen
fan.
4 lacrosse. You guys are hot.
Well, we
Maybe y'all can make the NCAA tournament basketball next
we
year.
lose in the Frozen 4 though. We lose in the championship.
That sounded so sad when you said
That
I
did-
am
that did.
sad.
You just like that hurt me a little bit.
But you know what? Now I've got the confidence back.
There you go.
Lacrosse,
That's how you need
baby.
it. Cole Frink, another $2 donation. He wants you to play this song like bad. Says if it's done, play it.
Okay, Cole. Gosh, you sound like the Pete Davidson when he's the manager for Motley
All
Crue.
access
I'm gonna
this
do
week.
it.
Let's do it all.
access.
I'll bring the guitar.
There we
We'll do
go.
it all access.
All
this week.
access. Well, it'll go Thursday. It's going down.
Don't miss
11:30
Thursday.
a.m. Central. That's fine. I'll Taylor Swift this whole situation.
All right, CB Dog 4. He's one of them dogs. All right, he says, who flops more, NBA players or soccer players?
Soccer.
Soccer.
By a ton. By a ton.
By a ton?
By a ton.
All right, let's go to Bradley Cogdill. The Kentucky Derby is nuts. It's like 5 hours of TV coverage for 30 seconds of a race.
Yeah.
This is what gets me with UFC, staying up late for UFC fights. There's nothing worse than staying up, because the UFC fights usually start at midnight? Like the pay-per-view UFC fights. To stay up 5 hours to watch a 20-second fight. Like that John Jones and old boy fight. It's like a front headlock. I'm like, dude, I want to see blood and families get into
Well,
it.
I have a rule. I feel like if I was in charge of UFC, and look, Dana does an incredible job, but I feel like if you're like at the top of the card, like if you're the one that, it needs to end in a knockout. Like there's no decision. The decision is made by one of y'all getting knocked out. I don't know. I've just always felt that way.
I said that to one of my buddies one time who actually boxes, and he was like, yeah, they'd be dead. The guys would die.
That's actually true. I think about that. But I mean, gladiator
you want
sport.
millions of dollars or what?
Yeah.
It used to be 15 rounds at least.
Woo.
Now they moved it down.
Well, it's like you
to
see
12.
the Rocky movies, and it's just like just like blow after blow after blow,
Yeah.
or just watch a Nate Diaz fight.
The Rockies movies are just like, move.
Yeah.
He just literally repeatedly.
Well, my thing is like,
punched in the
how is
face
your
30
head
times.
how's your jaw not broken after like the third round when you've gotten hit 35 times by Sylvester Stallone or Carl Weathers?
Deacon and Orr wants to know, should DeAndre Hopkins get traded? If so, which team should he get traded to?
Well, I mean, I said this. If I'm like the Ravens or the Jets or somebody like that, I'm trying to go get that piece. Not that OBJ is a bad player. I'm not saying Odell Beckham's a bad player, but he's not the OBJ of old. You know, he's kind of, you got to check the Carfax on that one. But I think there's multiple spots. People talked about the Patriots. Mac obviously needs help. But I think D-Hop wants to go to a place where he can have a chance to win it. Because he really hasn't. in his career, been on that perennial dominant team because he is such an amazing football player and an even better person from what everybody says. So, I look at teams, like I said, like the Ravens, like the Jets now acquiring Aaron Rodgers, but there are many teams, even teams that are deep at the wide receiver position and the skill position in general, that could use a talent like D-Hop. In the red zone, just a complete receiver blocking. He's the new Larry Fitzgerald. That's who he is to me. That's who when I fits.
I think he's going to end up in New York, either Jets or Giants.
Yeah, I don't think you go wrong either way.
Chargers could be a good pick too.
The Chargers. He goes to the Chargers.
Got enough.
Good Lord.
Do they? You were complaining all their receivers were hurt last year.
Well, yeah, they were, and they're still one of the best receiving corps in the NFL.
Make room for it.
Palmer, that young kid, I'm telling you, hop. Go to the Ravens.
I
want to see it.
D-Hop and Lamar would be
it.
nasty together. They would be absolutely nasty together. We're having some technical difficulties here with Alex Stein. We're going to get him in when we can, trying to figure that out right now. But let's stay in the Booster Club here.
Travis Edward wants to know, Jake, do the analogies just come to you, or do you pre-plan them?
No, they just come to me.
Are you a pre-planned analogies guy?
No, if I did that, I'd drive myself nuts. I would
Is there
drive
a little
myself
list you have
absolutely nuts.
somewhere that you write them down and you're like, no, today,
No.
I'm definitely going to hit these?
No, it's a disorder.
I've seen it in
the
action,
spectrum when it
man.
comes to that.
It's like that.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Gopher Golfer. All right, he says, excluding KD/Booker and Murray/Jokic, who is going to be the difference maker in the Suns-Nuggets series? Who wins the series, and in how many?
Despite who? Ask me that again.
Especially for the Nuggets side. Who's going to show up for the Nuggets?
So you're saying excluding Jokic and who from the Nuggets? Murray?
It is KD, Booker, and Murray Jokic.
I think Aaron Gordon, to me, when you look at a guy that's an all-around player for the Nuggets, I don't think he was enough of a factor last night. He was kind of on the periphery. When you look at the Suns, Landry Shamet, how can you not say after that fourth quarter he had yesterday, he's the one that kept him ahead. He hit 3 after 3 after 3. We always talk about, now look at the Lakers-Warriors series, and everybody talks, and they should, about Steph and Clay and then LeBron. Those guys are going to get theirs. They're going to do their thing. But that series is going to be determined, in my opinion, by Draymond Green and Anthony Davis, who do both get talked about. But when you look at the numbers, it backs it up. But it's the role guys. It's the bench players. Like you look at the Knicks. I'll give you a great example. Malcolm Brogdon's been playing really well for the Celtics, who won Sixth Man of the Year. Who was the runner-up to Sixth Man of the Year? Quigley for the Knicks, but he's really done nothing outside of last game, hitting a couple threes. He's done nothing really to help the Knicks. Melton didn't have a good game for the Knicks. It's the periphery bench guys that are able, in this long marathon of what the NBA playoffs are, your superstars, you can count on them a lot. You can count on them 80% of the time. But those games where maybe it's not clicking, maybe they're not playing well, maybe they're not playing like superstars, where those periphery guys step up and make plays. Hell, even Landale for the Suns yesterday had some big plays late. So just like in any sport, it's about depth. It's not just about your starters, it's about depth, but those are some names to keep an eye on.
All right, let's go to L4E with a $2 donation. Appreciate it. He says, expansion NFL teams, ? Where would they go?
If you're an expansion team in the NFL, not Oakland. I would say you look at Vegas, that now has the Raiders. That was an obvious one. Man, do you put another one in? You can't put another one in Texas, right? You already got the Cowboys. You already got Houston. I'm looking around the country. You got the Panthers in North Carolina. South Carolina?
Now you got the Stallions in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay. Yeah. The Panthers are in Charlotte.
They're in North Carolina.
Yeah, but they're in Charlotte. If you put a team in South Carolina, I'm sure they'd own that one as well. Well, I don't.
The one in Alabama.
Yeah. How would an NFL? I think an NFL team would do great, but is Birmingham big enough? It's like Birmingham, like a big enough city.
You want to see the good side and the dark side of Alabama?
Come together?
Alabama and Auburn.
I don't know if we want to
create
see
one huge robot to win.
I don't know if we want to see that. I don't know if human beings are ready to see that.
They may not want an NFL team.
If I'm Auburn or Alabama, I don't. If I'm Nick Saban or Hugh Freeze, I don't.
Sure.
I want all the attention on us. I want all the feels.
Let's go to Tyler Beal. What's up, Tyler? It's this morning, guys. Morning to you, Tyler. Never get to join the chat, but I'm on vacation from work this week.
Let's get it.
Just woke up. Plan on calling in later. He says, thanks for making sports fun again. Absolutely, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Jack Hogan with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Jack. If Auburn wins the next 2 series, how deep do they need to go to lock up a 2 seed?
You know, some people are talking about if they're able to find a way to go 5-1, they may have the possibility to host. Now, I don't know if that is in reality. Right now, I think they're a projected number 3 seed. I saw in the Miami regional with Army and Miami. I forgot the other team that was in there. But to lock up a 2 seed, I think you win both the series. You got a great chance. I think you have a great chance to do it. Now, when I look at this team, the hitting has been there pretty much all year for Auburn. But the pitching came through this weekend. I mean, you got it shoved to you on Friday night by Skeens, who's a legitimate major league pitcher for LSU. But then you're able to come back, put some crooked numbers up on Saturday and Sunday, but the pitching, including the bullpen, if they can just be good, which I'm shocked I have to say that when Butch Thompson is the head coach, and sometimes it fluctuates in pitching, but the hitting has been pretty consistent. The pitching seems to be coming around, and what you've done in the last 2 series, one on the road at South Carolina, and then now one at home against number 1 LSU, you got it. Baseball is a game of momentum. We know how streaky it is. Hey, honey, is KFC still open? Auburn right now is pretty hot.
And it is still open.
Remember, we're taking calls 1-855-236-3228, having some technical difficulties. Technically, it's difficult right now. With Alex Stein, we're working on that, trying to get him in.
Let's go. A pair of Dallas says, what about the Saints picking up Derek Carr? You think he's going to thrive there or not?
Say it again?
Well, he says, what about the Saints picking up Derek Carr? You think he's going to thrive there or not?
I like it, man.
I think you've upgraded.
I do too.
At the quarterback position. Now, when you look at that division, I think the Saints right now have as good as a shot as
they can go win that division.
They could go
sure,
win it
man.
and get in the playoffs, and you never know what happens. I just have a hard time trusting Derek Carr when it matters. He's had one playoff game, and he lost that game. Now, could get fresh start sometimes, changes the narrative for everybody. But when I look at the Saints roster, can Michael Thomas stay healthy? What's going to happen with Kamara? I love Olave. He's got to stay healthy as well. There is some pieces, and that division is weak. So, yeah, I mean, I'll give Derek Carr the benefit of the doubt.
I like it. Much improved at that position this season.
Very
Chris Olave entering year 2, like you said. Michael Thomas, at this point, you have to just say, hey, maybe the best part of his career is done. But what is going to happen with Kamara? What's the status of that?
I haven't heard any updates. Remember, we had that incident off the field right by that elevator where there was video of it. You know the NFL is going to do something. I have not gotten an update on the length or what the repercussions will be, but something. They're going to do something for sure.
All right, we got another donation from L4E, $2. Appreciate it. It says, I think Crain & Co. has meant more to sports than ESPN. Really appreciate that, brother.
Yeah. Well, that's how, again, I mean, that's what we do now. Sometimes there's times when it intersects with cultural stuff and political stuff with the men and women's sports. Hell, people say NIL is political when it comes down to it at the end of the day. So, yeah, man, we just want to talk about sports and give our opinion. It's common sense. We talk common sense stuff here. You may not agree with who we think is going to win this or who played well or who's the best player or who should be MVP, but we just take things from a common sense point of view. And guess what? If you don't agree with us on that, I don't hate you, and we're willing to talk to anybody. But what probably doesn't shock you is, you know, working for the Daily Wire, if people haven't watched this show, we reach out to people that may be on the other side of what we believe on things, and they're not willing to come on. I mean, I'm not going to force somebody to come on here that's sitting in Iran.
Well, yeah, the last thing I want to do is sit here in an echo chamber, I promise you
For
that.
sure.
That's not fun for anybody.
No.
It's really not. Let's go to Bradley Cogdill, who says, you guys think South Carolina would lose out on being in the top 8 team if they continue the current trend, or have they built up enough credibility to be able to keep it?
I need to see who their last 2 series are against. I think it would be tough for them to drop that AC, but if they go 2-4, I mean, you end up 16-13 in the SEC, and the SEC is so dominant. Right now, I think there's 11 teams projected in. I think that's going to get cut down to 9 at some point. I say that, but Georgia won this weekend, had a big series win over Tennessee, who was absolutely on fire. I mean, you had to get the fire department out there in Knoxville to slow those guys down. Auburn had a big series win. You look at what Texas A&M did, coming back and winning on a balk-off, which you don't see a lot.
A balk-off?
A balk-off.
A balk-off.
You got a balk-off. That's very true.
Who'd you say South Carolina played this past weekend? Kentucky?
Kentucky got
So
swept.
they got swept by Kentucky. Yeah.
Yep.
It was Winthrop before then. Then, like you said, they won 1-3 against Auburn. Then they swept Florida.
Yep. Let's go ahead and get to calls while we're trying to work on getting Alex in here.
All right, let's do it. First caller, Jordan in Alabama. What's going on, Jordan?
Not much, fellas. Jake, I heard you quote the Hangover just a minute ago, and I thought it was funny that I opened my vows with that same line.
You did?
Hello, how about that right in?
How about that?
That's a great way to start. Hold on, let me type that in here. Hold on, that's a great. I'm getting married here in like a week and a half.
She did not like it, and I said, "This is not for you. This is for me and my friends."
She didn't like it. Well, look,
honey, this isn't about you.
Yeah, this is about the wolf pack. Today is not about you. Selfish.
But I was thinking that maybe we need to open like a Crain and Co. Auburn rehab for people who are way too hopeful preseason, because the way recruiting is going right now, I think we're going to win 11 games. And it's just...
Well, Jordan, I'll say this. And I always look at teams win and that are built inside out. And I think the most important thing that Hugh Freeze has done, and look, the quarterback position is the most important position. I will always say that. That's always how it'll be. But what he's done on the offensive line, I think, is where you're going to see Auburn close the gap, and how they have to close the gap toward an LSU and a Georgia and an Alabama. And it's going to take time. And it's going to take success on the field, right? Promises during the offseason can only go so far. You've got to see it come to fruition on the field. But I will say this. Nobody will work harder than Hugh Freeze to turn this thing around. Mm-hmm. He realizes how lucky he is to get a second chance. He understands that Auburn is a golden egg place, that all you have to do is get it going and it can self-sustain. So I would be right now, over the past, since the last 2 years of Gus Malzahn, going through the era of he who must not be named, and then now having Hugh Freeze up to this point, I think right now should be the most confident Auburn fans can be in the last half decade, to be honest with you. So while you never get too high, right? You never get too low. I think, man, 8 wins, if he could get to 9 wins this year, that would be huge. But he is putting the pieces around to have a chance to make a run. And I know he's been in the league before, but sometimes you come back in that first year and people haven't had you pegged for a while and you can steal a few. And the schedule sets up. I mean, you get Bama at home. You get Georgia at home. You get now you go to LSU, but I could see 8 or 9. If he gets 11, I mean
11, Blaine.
11.
Don't get me started.
11.
Yeah, don't gas Blaine up.
You know, I've learned the thing about don't be like me. I walk in and I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, anything above 6 wins, congrats you. First year. If this was year 3 for Hugh, we could be talking about this. Not 11, but 9. 9 could probably be a serious number. But I walk in thinking that Auburn is going to lose every game. So then I'm not what? I'm not disappointed. I sat on the sidelines when we almost lost to Mercer.
Well, what did Vince Vaughn say in Dodgeball at the beginning? He's like, I found that if I don't set goals, I never miss them.
Yeah, you can never.
What did she say back to him? She said, like, that's pathetic.
Yeah, something like that. Like, that's sad.
I'm seeing 12, boys.
Look, you already won the Natty.
Yeah, Michigan's already
won the Natty.
I'm seeing
Congrats,
12.
man. Proud of y'all.
Jordan, how do you feel about this Peyton Thorne situation there on the Plains?
I'm happy with it. I mean, I would take 50 touchdowns and 20 interceptions in 2 years, but that's just me.
That's just me too.
Quarterback play, but what do you guys think about, like, what would Keon Coleman or this kid from Colorado, if we got both or one of them, would that add a couple wins, or what do you think?
When we say add a couple wins, I think you need multiple players to be able to create that depth, to be able to win those extra games. But they just got Caleb Burton from Ohio State. You add the Craig kid from Colorado, who we know is a good player. You find a way to get Keon Coleman. I believe he was in Auburn this weekend. He already has that rapport and chemistry built with what Auburn already has. And all of a sudden, you go from a D- student in the wide receiver room to almost a B. And with the offensive line improved, with the wide receiver room improved, I'm looking at edge rusher right now. If Auburn can find a way to be effective on the edge, Switowski, right? Then I think that they could have a complete, somewhat balanced team. So, yeah, I mean, you add a couple more pieces to that wide receiver room, I think it's worth some more points, which we know how tight some of these games are at the end, could lead to more wins.
Appreciate it, Jordan.
Thanks,
Call
Jordan.
in again soon, man.
Yep.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
Let's go to TriStar in Chattanooga. TriStar, what's up?
The beautiful city of Chattanooga.
How y'all doing?
Good, TriStar. How you doing?
Now, from my guy John, from what I hear about you two, I hear that basically Jake's got the looks, but Blaine's got the aggressiveness.
Well, I mean, it depends on what country you're in.
Yeah, I mean, Or in international waters.
Yeah, or if you're in international waters, they can't prosecute that.
Yeah.
Like Kobayashi.
Anyways, kind of piggybacking off what the previous caller said, because I'm having a conundrum. On September the 30th, Tennessee plays South Carolina, but that's also the same day as Auburn, Georgia. And our guy John has been trying to coax me to come down to an Auburn game because I've never been to Jordan-Hare. And I'm debating because I'm thinking that Tennessee is going to absolutely destroy South Carolina because that's a revenge game and it's at home. And I'm sorry, I don't think Spencer Rattler has another game like that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, should I go down to Auburn and watch them play Georgia because that's going to be a huge atmosphere. Something tells me Hugh Freeze will pull something out. I mean, he's probably one of the best coaches at pulling more out of less, if that makes any sense. Like he can take a depleted roster and make them an 8-9 win team. He did it at Ole Miss. And I'm trying to debate. Should I go to that Auburn, Georgia, or should I just go to Tennessee, South Carolina? I'm debating.
Yeah, well, TriStar, let me Jordan Peterson this thing for you. One, you should go to an Auburn game in Jordan-Hare. It's an unbelievable environment. It's always a huge game. The Auburn-Georgia rivalry goes back. It's a bucket list. But let's not act like when the season comes on and if Tennessee's doing well, you know which game you're going to. You're going to the Tennessee game. And you know that I know you. Now, at some point, you do need to go to an Auburn game. And I love off-season talk. Hey, I may go here, I may go here. But when that blood starts running, all right, and starts boiling, that Tennessee orange, all right, and you start hearing Rocky Top, every 30 seconds, which is how it happens at Tennessee, we know you're not leaving Knoxville. So I appreciate the thought. I know John's trying to coax you, but let's not pretend like you're not going to the Tennessee-South Carolina game.
Yeah, true. And when you get the gentleman on about LSU, can you ask him why them drunk Cajuns always try to attack fans?
They're always up to something.
Well, somebody on social media, and that's never a great start, but said that the Auburn fan base is the worst fan base to go to a road game to. An LSU fan said that. I was like, man, are you serious?
Auburn?
Yeah, that's like a blind person telling me I can't see anything.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding? Have you ever been to an LSU game? Like, you basically, it's like, yeah, you have
even
to
get into Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I have to go. I have to wear like a military-grade bulletproof vest and have security. And that was before I started doing the show.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU, look, and I love it. I think the environment at LSU is the best one in the country. It's the best home field advantage. I think that there is. But if we're talking about class, all right, I can tell you the story about the guy who told me when I was 12 years old when we were at an LSU game that he was cooking duck sausage in the big pot of gumbo, and we asked if we could have some, and he said, yeah, you Auburn boys can duck down here and get it.
Wow, to a 12-year-old.
To a 12-year-old.
And he didn't think twice about it.
Didn't think twice.
And had no regrets.
I've been flicked off.
Zero regrets.
Yeah, I've been flicked off by kids that still suck their thumb down there.
TriStar, on your conundrum here, what made the Tennessee win over Alabama last year the most electrifying in college football? It was the fact that, Tennessee hadn't beaten Nick Saban. It was a huge upset, all that. That's what you could have if Auburn were to beat Georgia on the Plains next year. Georgia, new quarterback. You don't want to miss a game like that.
TriStar, I can tell you this right now. That's a long drive from Chattanooga to watch a half of football at all.
One half? You don't even give them two halves?
Golly.
Listen, you just go right down I-75. You take 285, and right there in Fairburn, you hit 85 South. You go through LaGrange, and then you go right through that West Point where that Kia plant is, and then you end up right there in Opelika, and then Auburn. There's a nice little Tiger truck stop there in Opelika.
That is true. That's a lot of right there's after 3.5 hours. I'm just telling you. All right,
you're right there, and then an hour and a half later, you're right there.
Great at both
I've driven down there
stadiums.
too many times. I know those areas like the back of my hand. I mean, or I could just go down 59, hit 280.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Look, the atmosphere will be phenomenal in Jordan-Hare, but the game will be a lot better in Tennessee soccer.
How you gonna stop at Buc-ee's if you just stay in Tennessee?
It's true. That's
75 South, you can hit that Buc-ee's in Calhoun.
That's a good point. TriStar, thanks, buddy. I'll see you in the spaces.
Thanks, man. All right, boys. Cody in Illinois.
All right.
Y'all know what this means.
Let's
Cody, what's
dance
going on?
with the devil.
All right, who's ready to play? What year is it?
Let's get weird.
All right, so I'll be reading guys 5 clues from a specific year. You're going to tell me what year it is. And once again, I'm going to ask you guys not to use any electronic devices. And then today, I would like to say I really like doing it more as a collective between the three of you guys than individual, if that's all right.
What if I identify as an electric device?
It's a great question.
Ignore him, Cody, please. You set the rules.
All right. Let's
Tough, yeah.
Good decision, Cody. Let's move on.
All
right. Collegiate champion. The Oklahoma A&M Aggies won the NCAA basketball tournament. Professional champion. The Cleveland Rams won the NFL championship. Sensational rookie. Reg Schoendienst batted .278 for the St. Louis Cardinals and led the league with 26 stolen bases. Individual accomplishment. Byron Nelson won the PGA Championship
Oh, my
in
gosh.
match play format over Sam Bird in the finals for his 5th and final major victory. This was the only major contested that year. The others were all canceled. Significant event. The Chicago Cubs held a 2-1 series lead over the Detroit Tigers going into Game 4 of the World Series. During that game, local bar owner William Cyanis and his pet Billy Goat were kicked out of Wrigley Field because the goat was annoying fans. The Cubs would go on to lose that game and ultimately lose the series in 7 games. And the curse of the Billy Goat was born. What year is it, fellas?
Say the golf one again with Byron Nelson.
Byron Nelson won the PGA Championship in match play format over Sam Bird in the finals for his 5th and final major victory. This was the only major contested that year. The others were all canceled.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
800 BC?
No, like 1933 is just sounding right.
There's no way.
Think it'd have to be a war year
I mean, why?
for all the other majors to get canceled?
Oh, maybe it was COVID.
That just happened, didn't it?
No, I'm trying to put the pieces together. Or maybe it was it's like a million
The
days.
Cleveland Rams. Guys, I'm 28 years old.
Oklahoma A&M Aggies. Like, to me, so you think 40s? Byron Nelson's the one that's going to tell us. Like, when did Byron Nelson play?
I don't know. But the Cleveland Browns were already a thing by the 40s, weren't they?
I'm telling you, Matt, it smells
Can we phone a friend?
No, ain't no phone a friend. No phone a friend. It's the 30s.
Guys,
It smells like 1933.
For some reason.
Why would all the other golf tournaments have been canceled?
I don't know.
Was the Masters even a thing?
I don't know. Maybe like the coal mine shut
This
down or
feels
something.
like
I don't know. It's like
52
early
to
in the
me.
1900s.
This feels like 52 to me.
52?
All right.
What, is it earlier than that?
So you said 40s. I already got
hold on.
50s, and that's the line?
Yeah, because think about the NFL teams. He's talking about the
All right.
Cleveland.
It's not. I don't think it's 30s. I'm starting. Byron Nelson played.
Yeah.
Why does 1907 or 1908?
I'm thinking World War I times.
I'm going 1908. That's what I'm going.
You went from 33 to 1908 that
What are you
quickly?
thinking, Dave?
Huh?
You said wartime. You said wartime. It wasn't World War II. Was there any
No, I
war
think it's
between
gotta
World
be
War I and World War II?
When are you thinking?
I'm thinking something about World War I.
I'm going
For
1908.
all the
That's
other
my guess.
ones to get.
It's 1907 or 1908.
All right. You want to go with 1908?
I'm going 1915.
No, we said
have to
collective.
collect it.
Good God, you don't
Oh,
listen.
my goodness.
You want to go 1908?
Let's do it. 1908.
Listen, right.
All right. It is not 1908, and it's not even close.
Okay.
But it's not over, guys. You have one last clue to try to win the game. So the two categories you get to choose from today are State of the Union, which will be a clue about the President of the United States, or Night at the Movies, and this will be about a box office hit from the year in question.
Let's go Night of the
Hey, hold on. Yeah, how are you feeling about it? You know old movies, right?
No old movies, but man, I don't even know what decade we're talking about here.
All right, let's go
Let's
movie.
try it.
Night at the Movies.
All right. Night at the Movies. Comedic musical film Anchors Away was a box office gem starring Frank Sinatra.
Cody, what is that?
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra.
When was
There we
Sinatra,
go.
like the
Okay.
Sinatra era, like when was it hot?
40s, 50s, 30s,
Oh, if
40s.
it's 52, I'm
no.
going to burn the studio down.
30s,
Yeah, is it
40s.
1952? Did Blaine really get that right? No way.
Maybe it is World War
Is
II.
that
It's
what
like-
we're going with, 1952?
I'm going to go. Oh, no.
Hold on.
No.
You think it's World
Let's
War II?
pick a year in World War II.
I know Sinatra went over there singing the Nazis to
This is
death.
what?
45.
41 to 45?
Let's go 45.
Okay, let's go with
1945.
All right. It is 1945.
Come on, man.
Hey, yes. Good
Thank
job, Coach.
goodness.
Good job, Coach. Good
Not
job.
that the
Good job.
Cleveland Rams helped at all.
Oh, my gosh.
Cody, you're
we didn't
reaching
get
deep for these,
I-
brother.
Woo!
I have to say, you guys should have listened to Cone on the war. You know, I put the canceled majors in there to
That was because of
That's the
good
only
call.
reason I even thought of it.
I mean, I brought up 52, and you thought I've been shunned.
well,
And then you guys chose 1908 as your first answer, and the Cubs won the World Series in 1908.
okay.
Maybe that's why I thought.
You were
Maybe that's what
subconsciously
registered. Because
So the NFL teams you were talking about, you had the Cleveland Rams in there. Who was the other one?
So I had the Cleveland Rams for the NFL, and the Cleveland Rams, that was their last season in Cleveland, and they moved to L.A., and that started the whole moving teams to the West Coast.
Gotcha. And then the Browns came after.
And the Browns came after, starting in the AAFC, and then went over to the NFL.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, that was a good one, Cody. Appreciate it,
yeah,
man.
that was. Thank you,
Boy,
Cody.
All right, we got Jack, a.k.a. Spy Guy 024 from Minnesota in the
Here we
chat,
go.
in the call-in. What's going on, Jack?
Hey guys, how's it going this morning? Just wanted to say I did order a Crain & Co. shirt, the red Crain & Co. shirt. So
Yeah.
Attaboy.
in here.
Everybody needs to go
Thanks,
get that
brother.
merch.
Jack, be nimble.
Jack, be quick. Jack got all type of merch.
Jack, you go order some more of that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to, but girlfriends are expensive. But
That is true.
But,
You should see fiancés.
I'm sure it's worse. But I don't know if you guys remember all the way back in December. On December 12th, it was my birthday. I did a chat in the Booster Club and said, hey, I got a birthday. I got the Daily Wire bat for my birthday. I would like it signed by you guys.
Yes.
I never sent that in at all because I totally forgot to do that. So hopefully I'm going to send that in, and hopefully I can get it signed by you guys here within the next couple of weeks, hopefully, if that's
We'll sign it.
you.
For sure.
But-
For sure.
All right. Awesome. So I do have a trivia question for you guys.
Go ahead.
Major League Baseball trivia question. So since 1954, there have been 5 forfeits in Major League Baseball. One player has been on the field or in the ballpark for at least 3 of them.
Really?
Do you know what player it is?
Forfeits? Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball player.
Forfeits.
Like, when's the
Major
last
League
game that was
Baseball
forfeited? Is it Pete Rose?
It feels
Nope.
too obvious to me. It can be Pete, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think when games were forfeited. When's the last game that was
It's
forfeited?
1954, he said?
I mean,
Who is it?
I want
Or-
to say it was in the 90s was the last game that was forfeited. I may be wrong. God, the sink. Give me, I'm going to shot in the dark here. Shot in the dark. Give me Will Clark.
No, Will Clark.
I'm just,
Who do you have over there?
It has to be somebody like we know, big name. Has to be so. Well, I'm like, I don't know.
not Bonds, you don't think?
No, but Bonds or McGuire, like Cal Ripken or something.
Let's go Cal Ripken. He played in.
Cal Ripken
like,
never missed a game, did he?
that was played. I mean, if it was
What about
forfeited, it's not on
Forfeited?
him.
All right.
Like Cal Ripken.
That's a great question. Who do you got?
All right. So the name, I don't know if can you guys still hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the name is Rusty Torres, and
Oh,
I'll
I
give
didn't-
you
Good.
I'll give you the reasons that they were forfeited. So the first forfeit was Washington Senator fans. It was the last year that they would be in Washington, and Washington Senator fans, as soon as the bottom of the ninth came, they stormed the field because they were upset that they were moving to Texas to become the Texas Rangers. So the game had to be forfeited in the ninth inning.
I respect it. I respect
because
it.
They were so upset. Second forfeit, it was 10-cent beer night in Cleveland, which is a terrible idea. And the fans stormed the field and objects were thrown everywhere, so the game was forfeited for that. And then the third forfeit, which is by far the craziest forfeit I've ever heard, a disc jockey named Steve Dahl had a disco destruction night between the games of a doubleheader, and the explosion of all the disco equipment destroyed part of the field, and people rushed the field after the explosion. So they had to call the game.
Oh,
Play
They had to call
baseball.
the second game of the doubleheader. So he's the only player that has been part of 3 forfeits in Major League Baseball since 1954. He has been in the ballpark as part of a team be cutting in 3 of those. So I just thought that.
Jack, that is
wild,
that's a great stat. We
That's
appreciate
wild.
that. I would have never guessed that, man. Thanks for calling
Send that bat in, Jack.
Yeah, send that bat in. We'll
brother.
sign it.
Appreciate it, Jack. All right, that's it for now. What's going on in the Booster Club?
All right, let's go to some donations over here. Let's start with Rolly Season with a $10 donation. It's always Rolly Season. Why does everybody talk badly of Heupel and his offense? He has put more receivers in the league than any other college coach right now. His QV development speaks for itself all the way back to Mizzou.
I mean, I think a lot of it stems, you heard with Hendon Hooker, he's a system quarterback. Every quarterback is in a system. Where I think people feel like the offense is gimmicky. And when you look at it, it's a base-off. It's not a simple offense. There's different reads built in. It's going at that pace. It's so different, people think it's gimmicky. And you saw that a lot with Gus Malzahn early in the hurry-up, no-huddle. They're like, he's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. Then everybody starts running it. And it's not a gimmick anymore. And we see more fast-paced and more up-tempo and things like that. So I think that's just people looking at something that's different and thinking it's just a trick. It's not a trick. It's really efficient. It's a very thorough system that has an answer for everything that operates at a certain pace. So I just think that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to something that's different.
All right, let's go to Reggie with a $5 donation. Appreciate it, Reg. So when was the last time a tight end was a Heisman candidate, and what season stat line would Brock Bowers need to be considered for Heisman?
Okay. By the way, just got to update. We're not going to be able to get Alex on because of the technical difficulties today. We're going to get him back on. So we're going to knock that out here probably this week. But a tight end, who's the last tight end? David. Who's the last tight end you thought could win the Heisman?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm trying to think of some hybrid. There really hasn't been where you're like, that guy really has a chance. Because Brock Bowers does so much. I mean, heck, he's run the ball. I don't even consider him a tight end. I just consider him a football player because he does so many different things. I can't remember one off the top of my head. I mean, Kellen Winslow Jr. maybe?
Maybe Winslow, but even then, he was surrounded by so many guys on Miami.
Jeremy Shockey?
Maybe.
I know I'm kind of staying in the Miami family here. I mean, there's really not one that.
But why it sets up good for Brock Bowers is you're going to have a first-year quarterback come in. So you're not, the quarterback's not going to be taking votes away from you. In the Heisman conversation.
That's a good point.
You're going to be one of the you're going to be the biggest playmaker to go to for a quarterback who's, trying to get introduced to the system. So it could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen.
I think he's poised for a huge year.
I think the last, there's been 2 tight ends to win the Heisman. The last one was in like 46.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. Let's go to Trevor Sage with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Trev. He says, morning, I don't understand why in basketball, if you're driving to the cup, a.k.a. the basket, and the defender is in legal guarding position, if the offensive player trips himself on the defender, why isn't it a play-on situation?
I think it depends. Most of the time, and this happened last night in the Sixers game, James Harden stepped on the foot of Malcolm Brogdon, I believe it was. I think every call and circumstance is different. I mean, how did you trip? Did you trip by yourself and then fall into somebody, or did you get tangled up? Now, we see in football, typically, when a wide receiver and a DB gets their feet tangled, there is no penalty. In basketball, they seem to call fouls at a much higher rate when people get their feet tangled up. I think it's circumstantial, but I do think it was a foul last night in the Sixers game. I mean, I think that was 2 guys. It's almost like hitting knees. It's unfortunate, but they're going to call the foul on the defense.
What did y'all think about the Jason Tatum last play?
As an offensive foul.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that. I mean, even the announcers who were, I thought, pretty unbiased were like, that's a foul. And it wasn't like it was hidden. He had the ball in the final moments of the game. Like, it's a blatant push-off.
You see that a lot in the NBA, though.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, it's a foul.
James Harden pushes off almost every time.
Without a doubt. I mean, receivers push off all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's called, sometimes it doesn't. DBs hold all the time. Sometimes it's called, sometimes it doesn't. But to me, like, in that moment, and it was so blatant, it's different, I think, if you, Harden sometimes uses that shoulder, right? Like when he's driving the cup, he'll use that shoulder to bump.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that. It's the extension of the arm to create space that I have a problem with, that I think is an offensive foul, and I think we all agree it's an offensive foul.
Did you guys see this story with Colts owner Jim Irsay talking about Andrew Luck's, the rights to Andrew Luck with NFL teams? He said if any NFL team attempts to contact Andrew Luck to play for their franchise, it would be a clear violation of the league's tampering policy because he retired with 3 seasons remaining on his contract. How do you guys feel about that?
Had those 3 years gone up yet?
No, I mean, he didn't play those 3 seasons.
No, I'm saying, has it been 3 years since he retired?
It has, but he didn't play for the Colts. So they would own his rights if he came back in the league 10 years from now.
Okay, so is Andrew Luck trying to come back? Is like that's what?
The only reason this would come up.
Book club got boring. I'm shocked.
This just wouldn't come up out of the blue.
No, I think Washington was talking to him. Subject of an injury last year by the Washington Commanders.
Know. Andrew, I don't think you come back, brother. I don't know. Like, you got banged up. Like, you got hurt. Like, you were crying, and like, I don't think you come back.
Look, if he wants to come back, I mean, let him do his thing. But if I'm the Colts, yeah. Especially with what I'm looking at right now. Anthony Richardson, to be put Luck with I don't know. I just, man, that's an interesting
situation. This doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Got Rolly Season, $5 donation. Rolly Season out here dropping bands. By the way, love what y'all do. Appreciate it. It's fun, clear cut, non-biased. Hard to find. Keep it up, fellas, and God bless y'all. God bless you.
God bless you, and God bless America.
Absolutely. Hit the gas pedal. Let's go to Travis Elrod. What up, Trav? He wants to know who goes earlier in the next draft, Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
They're saying Marvin Harrison Jr. may be the best wide receiver to come out since Calvin Johnson's with it. And you know what? Typically, I don't buy into a lot of the overhype that you hear about players going on, but I've watched this cat. We've all watched him. He's different. I mean, 6'4" with absolute body control. He's like watching one of these huge NBA players that has incredible body control, like a Jason Tatum or a Jaylen Brown. It's just incredible to watch. But Caleb Williams probably going first.
Yeah,
like that. That's a very safe bet. That may even be a safer bet than Bryce Young. My biggest question is, when you look at some of these other quarterbacks, how high will Bo Nix go? If Stetson Bennett is getting taken in the 4th, Bo Nix could be a top 3-round quarterback if he has the year that I think he can.
Yeah,
so,
Caleb Williams will go number 1.
Caleb Williams will go number 1.
I mean, Brian Hartline has seen all those wide receivers for the Buckeyes, right? I mean, we had Jackson Smith and Jigba go in the first round this year, 2 wide receivers in Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson in the top 11, top 10 last season. And for him to still put Marvin Harrison Jr. over all those guys and Michael Thomas, I mean, he's going to be an elite talent.
All right, I'm going to get up to bets. You can read some donuts if we got some more, Blaine, while I'm up there. All right. This weekend, pretty successful, not going to lie. Back in the green, want to stay there, all right, like Shrek. Here's what I got tonight. Heat, -4.5, -105. They're just better than the Knicks. They're just better than they are. And you're playing them
at home. Really are.
Like, you're just better. So I'm going to go with the better team. I think it could be a double-digit win. And then I'm going to go Oilers at home against the Knights. You want to know why? Because they're the better team, too. All right, they went and handled business last game on the road. I think the over-under for goals is like 7. So they're expecting a high-scoring game. I like the Oilers -1.5. I'm feeling...
Did Connor McDavid score that first goal?
I can't remember. Somebody bet
it. It was like plus, like, the thing about first goals, like
something like that.
Yeah, it's like the first pitch in baseball.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be maybe a 6-2 type game with the Oilers. I think they're going to dominate. So give me those 2 tonight, boys.
Go ahead. I'm looking up this.
Okay, hey, surprise, surprise. Crane's taking some more Nerfies, all right? Hey, not a bad weekend. I believe I went, I split Saturday, then went 4-2 on Sunday.
You've been hot on the Nerfy train.
I'll take that at the end of the day. Max Verstappen, you beautiful man with the fastest laugh. Appreciate that. That's what I'm going with. Marlins, D-backs, Nerfy, -120. The Marlins, when it comes to Nerfy, are a very good team to bet because they can't hit the baseball, which is good. D-backs always scary. They always have some scrappy guys in the lineup. All right, give me Rangers, Mariners, Nerfy, Gray's on the mound for the Rangers, Gilbert on the mound for the Mariners.
Come on, he's on my fantasy team. Come on, Logan.
Nerfy,
it's us, babe.
In the green, 12-10. Gotta keep it steady.
Yeah.
No,
David,
Connor McDavid did not score the first goal, but he did have an assist.
Okay.
All right, boys, we got to turn it around quick. I think tonight's the night. Rays, Orioles, Nerfy, no runs in the first inning. That's -130. And then I'm going to go Golden State money line, +125. Dog money there. Got to even the series. Let's go. Let's go. +125.
Ace Cone believing in the Knicks. Shout out Ben Stiller. He's going to take him +4.5. That's -115. And he's going to ride the Lightning with me, but not Ben Franklin style, a little bit lighter. He's just going to take the Oilers money line, -175. It's competitive. I mean, Crain & Co. Picks Tracker's right there too, which, by the way, we need to get his speech sent in.
He's got to send it in. Send in that speech,
We'll
buddy.
talk to him.
Does he?
Yeah, and also, we've gotten great feedback from the new way we're doing the Booster Club bets.
Awesome.
We have the standings link, as well as your link to do your bets so we can track your units. We're working through some of the bugs right now, just like you'd expect when you have that many people doing that type of thing on a Google Doc. So
Send it to your friends.
So far, and the memes have been hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. It makes my morning, every morning, to look at the memes we get underneath that. All right, Blondier.
Cole Frink with another $2 donation. Cole, the man who's made of money, he says, will you guys cover the NHL draft this summer?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk
Are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, we'll talk about
I'm
it.
gonna let you talk about
We'll
it.
talk about talking
No,
about it.
You don't want me to talk about it. You don't.
How about you? You take the lead.
I'm not going to be that guy who pretends to know something I don't.
There's probably a Hughes brother somewhere who's gonna get drafted.
God, you talk about skating fast.
I
We
mean,
talk
that
about
family-
McDavid and some of these other guys. Jack Hughes is absolutely flying on the ice. Like, I'm just waiting for Gordon Bombay to pop out. Or there'd be like some Coke cans set up where he has to stop. I mean, the kid's absolutely skating.
The accountant _ CPA 12. He says, Stetson won 2 natties. Bo hasn't won anything.
Yeah, but they don't draft quarterbacks just based on whether you won the national championship or not. Hell, Anthony Richardson didn't win 8 games and got drafted 4th. I mean, they're like, look, how good are you? How much can you help us? But I was surprised that Stetson went that high. I'm still surprised.
My love for just something about Stetson just irks me, man.
I don't know what your deal. You need to get over
what
that.
it is, and it just hurts me.
It's like a person. Did he do something to you?
No,
like,
he didn't.
personally?
Like, no, look, I'm not a hater either. Like,
No, it sounds like you're a hater.
I'm not one of those guys. Just
You don't like people for no
you're
reason.
not as good as what people are saying you are. You're just not. You're surrounded by that. Look, if you put me on a basketball team with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Larry Bird and stuff like that, I'm gonna look better than what I am. And he was on that team at Georgia. That team could have not had a quarterback. That team could have ran it every play.
You know what you sound
and
like to
probably
me?
won the championship.
You know what you sound like to me?
Not a hater, a realist.
Who was on that team?
A
again?
realist.
Is that they had Michael
Jordan.
Jordan and Larry Bird on Georgia and I just didn't know it?
No, I was using a metaphor. But I mean,
metaphorically.
Yeah. Let's go to Deacon and Nora. He's the best player ever to play basketball, but whatever. Not going to go down that road. Hashtag Ask Crain and Co. A lot of people are saying the Bengals drafting Charlie Jones was the biggest steal in the draft. Do you agree?
Have you seen that little witch run around? I've watched.
Hey, where did our boy from Iowa go?
Yeah, that's him.
The unicorn?
No, Riley. You talking about
You're talking about Riley Moss. He went to the Broncos.
Yeah,
He plays
Riley
D.
Moss.
Charlie Jones is that Purdue wide receiver.
Oh, Cole.
Oh, Cold.
Cole.
He's got Cole Beasley written all over him. That's what he reminds me.
He's
of.
got Patriots written all over. I thought
He
Belichick
really does have Patriots.
Belichick was
written
going to
all
go full
over him.
Palpatine, sitting in a dark rooms like, bring me Charlie Jones.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Charlie Jones.
But dude, I'm telling you, like, I can't wait to see Moss from Iowa
Riley.
going against the grain, baby.
No.
Haru. The only one
What
we
round
got.
was he? Oh, he was the 131st pick in the 4th round.
Yep.
Charlie?
Nice pickup
Dude, yeah.
for a Bengals team that already has a great
Joe Burrow
wide
and him.
receiver
It's gonna be love at first sight.
You believe in magic in a young girl's heart. All right, JC, who are your dark horse teams for the college football playoffs next season?
Utah. Now, okay, what are we saying? Dark horse? Like what? Is that like way out
Chestnut.
of left field?
Sorry. Yeah.
Like, are we saying way out of left field? Because like it's hard for me. I'm not considering to be like Boise State to make the playoff. I think a Pac-12
I don't think
team's gonna get in
Utah's.
there.
I don't think
You think
Utah's
so?
a dark horse.
You wouldn't say Utah's a dark horse?
I wouldn't.
How about Washington?
That's
wouldn't
a
say
dark
it's a
horse.
either.
That's not a dark
Okay,
horse?
then who's your dark horse? Fresno
South
State.
Carolina Gamecocks.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's a dark
There you
Washington's
go.
not a dark horse?
Washington is a dark horse. Don't listen to what he says.
Are they? What are they ranked?
Are there rankings yet?
I mean, they don't matter.
There's always rankings.
Yeah,
Are there
that's true,
rankings
that's true.
yet?
Okay, let's get to Poll. No, let's go to Michael McMichelson.
Wow, is that Dave McDavidson's brother?
Yes. He said, will Garrett Wilson finish top 5 in receiving yards this year?
Now he's got Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
I'll
five?
put money on
Good
that.
shot.
Top
I'll put
50?
money on that.
Good shot.
I'll put money on that. He's going to be his target, right? That's going to be his favorite target. Now, I know Randall Cobb showing up.
Another guy?
And they've got Lazard, the Wizard.
Fish sticks.
So all the wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers complained about having to play with in Green Bay,
He brought
like,
over
hey,
there with
come
him.
on over here with me.
He's like, hey,
I don't have any weapons.
Me and
Oh,
Stetson
come here.
things like the you and Aaron thing. Right? It's just
Yeah.
it's just Spider-Man.
It's a real, like, boy meets
not
world.
Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man, Jeff.
Because you say Stetson thinks he's better than he is. Aaron Rodgers is really, really good.
But, like, how do you
Yeah,
think
but-
Stetson thinks he's better than he is? You don't know him.
No, I'm not saying Stetson thinks that. I'm saying other people think
Oh.
that. Like probably the team who just drafted him in the 4th round
Yeah.
thinks that.
That's Sean
Rams.
McVay, though.
Yeah.
He knows what he's
You're drafting Stetson. Do y'all have a left guard? I mean,
15 different starters on the O-line last year.
hey, but at least we got Stetson.
All right, let's get
Poll. What low-seeded NBA playoff team has the best chance at winning the title? I'll shout out to Mad Veg for this poll. Lakers, Heat, Warriors.
Okay, so the Heat are an 8.
Yep.
Lakers are what seed?
They're like
7?
7.
And the Warriors are an 8, right?
No.
No,
Yeah.
They're
Hold on.
The Warriors weren't the last seed. They would be playing the
I
Nuggets.
thought the
in
Warriors were a
first round.
6th seed.
Oh, we're about
like
to find
5.
this out.
I think they're 6.
Let's see. You've got the Heat are at 8. And the Warriors are a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't that far off.
6 seed.
Lakers are a 7. Give me the Lakers.
Do this every day.
Give me the Lakers 44%.
I actually think the Lakers, but the Booster Club, so Golden State was a 6. I'll say they said the Booster Club at 38%, 40%.
Who?
The Golden State Warriors.
The Warriors?
Yeah.
Lakers, 31%.
Mhm.
Heat, 26%. Warriors, 44%.
Okay.
I just picked the wrong team. Had the exact
The
right
hate of
percent.
LeBron is true in the Booster Club.
It is true. I
could feel it from here.
It flies high.
I
It doesn't
didn't
matter
think
what
about
it is.
that. I didn't
could
think about
feel it.
cutting the cord. But appreciated everybody that called in, everybody in the Booster Club. We're going to get Alex back on. Had some technical difficulties, part of it when you do a live show, but we're going to get that handled. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you check tomorrow. We got Riley Gaines coming on. We got some more big interviews later in the week. Got some great stuff as we move along in the playoffs. We know college football will be here before you know it, along with the NFL. And like the chances of Jokic getting another technical against another owner of an NBA team, we're gone.